Welcome back to your Passion, Purpose, and Personal Brand podcast. I'm Lisa McGuire, and today we're diving into something that has been on my heart lately. The difference between scaling with attention and just, scaling chaos. You know the feeling when you're in a season of growth, but something deep down whispers that you're missing a piece of the puzzle. Maybe you're adding team members, expanding services, chasing that next revenue milestone, but there's this nagging sense that you're building on shaky ground. If this resonates, this conversation's going to be for you. Today, I'm joined by Michel Prive, a seasoned executive with over 25 years of experience who's led organizations through everything from recessions to explosive growth periods. But here's what I love about Michel. He doesn't just help businesses grow, he helps them grow with purpose and precision. He's worked with companies ranging from startups to Fortune 500 organizations, and he's mastered the art of building sales organizations that don't just hit numbers, but create sustainable, profitable growth. He's also going to be the track champion for the Scaling Your Sales Team track at the upcoming Sell Well B2B Sales and Networking Conference. And trust me, after this conversation, you'll understand exactly why this session is one you won't want to miss. So Michel, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
All right. So you have worked with businesses ranging from startups to billion-dollar companies. What patterns have you noticed when it comes to how companies think about scaling? And what do most of them get wrong?
Well, the pattern is pretty simple. Every one of us, and I'm putting myself included here, we want to grow. It's the growth is not only about the financial growth, or it's growing overall. And what the patterns that I've seen is that the willingness, in fact, to grow is blinded, in fact, by the process of growing, and the process is pretty existing. It's not that difficult, but you have to very much pay attention to it. Is that and the first things you have to do is to look from the within, who you are with you, and then after that, looking at what you want to achieve, and looking from the within, following a very strict process, which is looking at the 6 prongs of the companies, the mission, then after that, the customers, then after that, the finance. We all want to get richer, not poorer. You have to look at the people, you look at the system, and you look at production, obviously, and everything that you need to do this. So it's always the same thing. It's either you set up well, at the startup level, and or with multi-billion dollars, like we are involved at the moment with growing through merger and acquisition, is to go back to the drawing board. The companies they acquired were solely well set to start with, and after 4 or 5 years, it's necessary to go back to the drawing board. And what they miss, to answer your question, what they miss most of the time is to take the time to take a deep breath, assess what the problem is. In other words, measure twice, cut once. And that's most of the time. That's not many of the companies are failing to do this, and they end up by growing a 3-leg monster. And so it's and that's what typically we're involved with. Is when the monster has been created.
That's right. So this advice, measure twice, cut once. And I think what you point out, Michel, is so many people are moving so quickly, they don't pause long enough to see if what they're doing is actually effective in helping them meet their goals. But as you mentioned, this 3-foot monster, we talked a couple of weeks ago, and that really just kind of stopped me in my tracks, because if you scale too soon, you're creating this 3-foot monster. I mean, just that visual alone. What does this 3-foot monster mean, and why is it so critical for leaders to understand?
Well, to be able to help understanding what it is that I'll take a couple of examples in my line of work. Uh, the first example is, an experience that I had when, I came into the United States, where we grew the business. I was hired to merge business together and grow. And we grew fast. We look at the top number, but it ended up that the top numbers we were creating our three-leg monster because we were growing non-profitable business.
Mm-hmm.
And that clogged the company, clogged the production sites. And instead, I changed course when I started to see that, it was not going towards the right direction. And we fixed it. Another three legs monster is when you want to grow, your factories are full and you need to first get more capacity before growing. And even if, and this is planning, long-term planning in advance, it would be like, one of the companies that I'm helping, I help them, in fact, to put together the process of their company. They don't want really to grow. They want to work less
Mm.
because they grew up so fast and they are very successful that the owners can't go on vacation.
Yes.
The process is not written, it's not followed, and everyone, but they are successful. They are making a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out that, what I'm helping them to put together is the process, the tools that will be linked to their ERP system that will allow them to go on the beach, not to have to worry. People will be trained, and in fact, the valuation of their company has increased. So this is only those three monsters leg related to the revenue generation. I can imagine many of others where you grew up your company, you get your sister, your mother, your cousins in at the beginning, and you want to grow. You have been successful, but at one point of a time, this is not the family, but what they have, the skills that they need to acquire to continue to be able to grow. And it may end up, and this is nothing to do with the family of their people themselves, but they don't have the right skills to go to the next stage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you have to take decisions there. You train or you find a position,
Yeah.
another position in the company.
Yeah. I think you bring up a really critical point that we can call ourselves successful because we've got money coming in the door, right? And maybe a lot of money coming in the door. But if the owner is so busy they can't go on vacation, then you're coming in and saying, wait a minute, we need to look at how we can put some processes and systems in together. And this is probably where people are saying, but look, we're making money. Now you're going to slow us down and we have to put structure in and what I want to say, processes to follow, right? And that's not fun. Like getting money is fun, but putting in these processes aren't fun. And your point about, when you start up, just getting the people together, but that may have been a great team for startup, but are they the right team to be able to go on? So this leads to my next question, Michel, about where you and I are completely aligned on something. When a key person leaves a company, I see people panic and they rush to replace them with someone exactly like that person. But you see that moment a little bit differently. Explain how you can help leaders reframe that situation.
Right. Yes, and this is because this is the easy, fast way to
Mm-hmm.
to think that way. So I would address it. If someone, a key person, is leaving, you have to go to the root cause. Obviously, why this person leave? Was it for the good reason? Was it for the bad reasons? And it could be, you have a leak now, and you could have many more people leaving. So this is very much the time to take a deep breath and looking at, once again, you go back to the same things. Where do I want to go in the future? The past is behind you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look at the present and the future. This is the time to assess who else in the company could take up this position.
Mm-hmm.
How can we achieve the same results, in fact, without having that person in. And that go through sets of assessments. And you will see that because I witnessed that a couple of times in my career, you got 2 or 3 people who wanted to be the sales manager. Mm-hmm. And when the sales manager left, and we brought in another sales manager, exactly what you just described, it brought chaos and people left. Mm-hmm. And, a new person is coming in could be, in fact, a trigger for very bad things coming up. So the first thing I would recommend, and that's what I experienced, is that before replacing anyone, look at, what you already have, the people that you have, your systems. How can I make more out of the people that I have today? Mm-hmm. Could AI be used for this? Absolutely. I'm not looking at replacing AI for everything, but there are plenty of tasks in sales, especially in sales, business development, customer service that could be done semi-automatically. And you train the balance of the people on your team to use those. You could promote someone from the inside. You train that person to be the new leader. You add the skills. Not only you will be adding up the skills for one individual, but all individuals to do better. But imagine, there are plenty of different ways, in fact, to approach a replacement of a departure from someone. And if you study this, and trust me, you would think that I don't have the time. I don't want the money to spend before this. But if the person that left was a key person, how much cost, how much money and frustration and time would be losing by recruiting the wrong people. Yeah. And that could be a disaster. So I'm coming back to this, again, is that measure twice, count only once. And you take very fine decisions, and there's most of the time, those are the right decisions.
Yes. And I think the need to make a decision quickly, that emotional push, gets people in a lot of trouble because they hire the wrong person. Or like you said, when we talk about AI doesn't need to replace people, perhaps, but it may need to reframe how we're doing our jobs, what we can bring to the table, and who that person is that needs to have the skill set to be able to leverage you to where you want to go. So, Michel, this really makes me curious. Almost every conversation I have on this show deals with a question around mindset, because everything kind of starts with mindset. So what kind of mindset does a leader need to adopt if they truly want to scale with intention, not just add more complexity to their already overwhelming world? What do they need to do with their mindset?
Well, they have to look. Being an entrepreneur is a mindset on its own. Already, you start with it. The world is could be so easy if you get a job somewhere. But the mindset of growth, the mindset of bringing solutions to problems that all the entrepreneurs have. That's the purpose of selling a product or service. But the mindset is an entity from the within that will be driving you, or you and everybody working with you to new territories many times. And I don't know in your case, but my mindset has been very much focused on fixing or building. And, it's, for bankers might be something completely different. It would be to try to achieve other things. I don't know about you. I will be asking you, what's your mindset for? What's your mission? And it's not so much about only about the mission. Is the mindsets to be able to let's do it. Let's really do it. And so I hope that I answer your questions this way. But I wrote a chapter in the book, about that talk about mindsets in sales.
Yeah.
And in this book, in fact, I relate a true story about changing the paragraph, changing the course for a
Mm-hmm.
company. And in fact, where I was as a leader and my team were looking for a short lead time and great service for a customer, we had to cut a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
and do a lot of let's say that unproductive things for us to get to the results. And the mindset was that we decided to do it, we executed it well, and we end up exactly where we wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Without that mindset, I would never have been able to convince, in fact, the board about these changes. And in that book, I'm not pushing that book here. You got plenty of my writers have plenty of different other stories about mindsets and sales. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah, it really is. And I think, what you're really talking about is the filter that you bring to the conversation. What is your priority? What are the stories you tell yourself? There's a lot of things when we enter into those conversations that impact the outcomes. But what we have coming up, one of the reasons we're talking today is it's really something exciting. You're going to be the track champion at the Sell Well B2B Sales and Networking Conference for scaling your sales team. I know our listeners are always hungry for practical wisdom, Michel. So, what will you be sharing with attendees during your session at Sell Well?
Well, I gave a little bit of a hint, a
Yeah.
little bit earlier. It's about a framework. It's a
Mm-hmm.
framework of what to do first before recruiting. And I'm a recruiter myself, part of the service that we are doing is to be able to recruit the right person for the right seats for today.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, before you do this, you look at your team, you look at yourself, because you're going to have plenty of solopreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
in this conference, is that I need to scale.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as a solopreneur, like I'm doing on a daily basis, I'm working with my colleagues. That's a very
Mm-hmm.
nice way for me to scale. I would be working with people who will be helping me to deliver my service. But the number one thing is that the framework is the same no matter what the size of the company, is very much looking at what do I have? What do I want to achieve? Do I have the right people? And then after that, I take action.
Mm-hmm.
And the action, the second part of the discussion will be what to do, and different ways to do it to recruit well the first time. And that's the word well the first time. It could be let's say ballsy to say this, but you eliminate, by looking at what you want to do, you eliminate plenty of things that you're going to be carrying otherwise if you don't do it. And in fact, for the recruiter, that could be the business owner, it would be that I know exactly what that person will be. I will be exactly able to communicate that to the person, and the person will be coming in, will be expecting exactly what I ask them to do.
Mm-hmm.
When you get into that stage, there's a very high rate of retaining.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not yet there, but welcoming someone, delay a little bit, your recruitment, making sure that you got the right structures to welcome that person with the right skills, additional skills that you don't have eventually, within the company, to help the company growing.
Yeah.
And once you're there, you have your job descriptions writing itself, as a matter of fact, and then you will be shortening, in fact, your recruitment, let's say, cycles, which could be long. And but it's, once again, I'm coming back on the same thing. It's better that you recruit the right person first, even if it's 2 months later.
Yeah.
And if you don't do this, recruitment costs you money right from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine if you have to do it twice, 3 times during the same year, it's exhausting. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to be talking about.
Yeah,
during
that's
the
really
seminar.
Yeah, that is really exciting because I know, Michelle, when I started my business back, I guess it's been almost 8 years ago, that the first thing and all around the circles, all people would talk about when you scale your business, when you go through the point of you've got to scale your business. And I remember thinking, first of all, why is this the conversation that everyone is having? Isn't the first question, do you want to scale your business? And if so, why? Like, what is the point of it? And then if you decide that is something that is right for you at this time with your business goals, then what is the best way to do it? And I think having this framework would be very beneficial because, like you said, when you lose someone, I think they say now it takes 3 times their salary to replace them. That's a lot of money. So I think
It,
it's very wise.
it's money, but more above, it's frustration.
Yes.
And frustration not only about you, the business owners, but it could be your colleagues. And
Mm-hmm.
and imagine that you failed once, you failed twice. So suddenly the trust in your leadership start
Mm-hmm.
to come in, your self-esteem, and it's happening. Just to come back on one point that you just said is that scaling. Do I need to scale? Maybe not. You might not need, in fact, the revenue. You might need the let's say that you only need maybe the profit
Mm-hmm.
and and maybe working less like the clients that I have and then maybe in fact in the future this is not about scaling, this is about transforming.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between scaling and transforming is that you keep facing the same things, you can't grow.
Mm-hmm.
Transforming is about getting over this and getting your structure ready for the next growth stage.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes a lot of sit down and but it's very important to look at it. The framework remains the same thing. Assess first, then act.
There we go. Measure twice, cut once.
Yes.
We have that again. So, Michelle, I've been thinking a lot about this lately about why sell well and other events like it, where professionals come together around trust, business, and relationship, are so valuable, particularly in today's marketplace. What do you think it is about being in the room together that makes the difference?
Well, it's I don't know for you, but on my side, um, I don't recall the past 2 3 years to have a client that came in from my marketing, and we do a lot of marketing. This is a big expense, and in fact, it turns out that most of the business are coming from referrals,
Mm-hmm.
and the referrals are coming from partners who know exactly what you do and who knows exactly which moment of time they should be
Mm-hmm.
engaging you into the discussion. And sell well, like Growth 2025, those are two great programs that Catherine Brown put together, are attracting, in fact, a network of potential referral partners. Even people, we talk about growth, about growing the company, about I might find 2 or 3 potential partners that I would be offloading my processes. I will be offloading, composition plan. Who knows? And they might find clients that would be interesting to hear about my, competitive analysis.
Yeah.
And the value, what I witnessed, and is that this is an event where people are not shallow. People go deeper. They are interested. This is a conference for us, not only us, but the service suppliers, but also, and I'm hoping that I will be attracting as well people from, my clients will be coming to this event, because all businesses, most of the businesses, the number one source of leads are referrals. You have to master referrals. And there are plenty of ways to do this. And this conference is about this. And Catherine has done a fantastic job in fact, to open up the eyes of many of us and find a place, a safe place, I would say, where we're going to be not mingling, we're going to be working. This is not a cocktail. This is a working session and extremely valuable.
Yes, I want to point out the fact that when you and I both attended Grow 2025 earlier this year, which is sponsored by Good Humans Growth Network, and Catherine Brown is the founder, it was such a different room, Michel, because like I walked in, it didn't feel like surface conversations. It was a person that you engaged in a conversation with. Many times they were taking notes while you were speaking as a reminder of this is what this person does and this is who they need to meet. Because it was almost, what they call it net weaving, right? Instead of networking, it's who do I know that you need to meet? And that exactly is how we are going to do business today, especially when there's so much noise. You brought up about spending a lot of money on marketing. And I do want to point out that when someone does make a referral, they're still going to go check out your website. They're still going to follow you on LinkedIn. They're still going to look at your marketing. So it doesn't mean you need to take your foot off the gas with marketing. But what it does mean is we are now actually trying to attract two different avenues. We're trying to attract our clients, but we're also marketing and communicating with those people who are going to be members of our sales team. So,
yes, well, that's right. And this is the massive change of, when we are not selling anymore.
No.
We are serving.
Mm-hmm.
And as a referral partners, because you have high expectation from your referral partner network, they have very high expectation from you. You are part of their teams as well. And obviously, you can't fail. And if, I'm saying this to many business owners, almost at the beginning, is that, and it comes down to the relation, when someone is leaving, if you recruit a fractional person, the only thing that matters to me, I don't know about the others, but to me, is to get a referral, a testimonial, a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You would never look at me this way when I used to be an employee, even senior leaders in the industry. I could have shopping, I could say, I never left any organization on bad note, and I was never fired either. But it would be that, look at the difference, what you would be getting by having someone from the external that can't fail. The client that who don't want to work as much as before. This is a referral from Rich Hall, and Rich told me to go to Growth 2025, and I trusted him. And in fact, we are part of Deal Flow. That's another part of, within a couple of weeks, I had a very good lead, which turned out to be a client, and my expenses has been covered. In the process, I met all the different people within Deal Flow. They are all over the United States. I know exactly what they do now. I'm an ambassador of their businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it started with. It started with growth, and it continued the journey through this. And I referred, I don't know, maybe dozens of the people that I met during growth. That's what this conference is about.
Yeah, it really is. And you talked about the ecosystem that we have. Deal Flow is one of the grow groups in the Good Humans Growth Network.
That's right.
I will be starting my own grow group. We have an open house. Actually, it will have already happened by the time this episode airs. But my grow group is called Beyond the Transaction. So it combines strategic referrals, like you're speaking about, Michel, and business growth advisory. And so it's all framed around authenticity. So, Michel, I know you've got some incredible resources that can help our listeners right now even before they get to sell well. Can you tell us about the tools you've created to help business owners get clarity on where they stand?
So we built a sales playbook, which are unique to each business owners, very, very unique. And part of the tools that we are using, we do a competitive analysis. And this is mind blowing. And so we decided, in fact, to offer it for free. If you go to our website, which is www.slicktexas, SLIC Texas, one word.com. Not only you will see plenty of, let's say that, educative talks, papers, those discussions, very diverse, directly related to growth. But if you go, I think it's on the first page now, you click on that competitive, you just need to give us, in fact, 3 pieces of information: the clients you want to win, the competitors who've got the business, and we will be giving you for free, in fact, a complete analysis of what to do to win that business. So you're going to have a competitive analysis versus your competitors, your strengths, the weakness, and obviously what to do to play on it. So it could be a report that you give it to your salespeople and they will go for it. This is an example of the value of our sales playbook. This is one element of our sales playbook. Yeah. The second thing that we do for free as well, it's a 5 minutes, it's a link. You want to know where you are in your sales journey, you click on it, you have 10 questions, it takes not more than 5 minutes. The report, if you put my name on it, the report will come to me, and I will be able, not only you're going to have some plain recommendation, but you will be able to, let's have a call and discuss where you are in your journey for free. So that's what it is.
All right. 2 great value adds there. And I also heard through the grapevine, you've got something big launching in Q4 of 2025, your growth engine. Michel, can you give us a tiny peek at what that is about?
Yes. So we discussed about budget, a little bit about marketing. So, we call it the growth engine because this is where and how you're going to get your customers. So you have different ways to get your customers. You have marketing, you have referral, you have your friends, obviously. Then after that, once you have a client, you have opportunity to keep your client. And I'm looking always at one. That's my second question: is that what's your attrition rate? Mm-hmm. In other words, what's your churn? And so if the churn is too high, that means customer service. There's something that needs to be done to prevent that. So the growth engine is about looking at, for each company, looking at customer service, sales, inside sales, outside sales, marketing, branding. And looking at when we approach a client, we're going to be approaching the client with that mindset. And obviously, you could see that that's where you find three-legged monsters. That's where you find plenty of expenses for nothing, not much. And we're going to be proposing, in fact, what I described, the customer service, sales, and marketing and branding. Or it could be the other way around, filling up the pipeline and, the full cycle. And we're going to be proposing some service directly related to this. And the good thing, it will be different, but that will be the same for startup, growing companies to enterprise.
Okay. All right.
Because the problems are the same. So
they are just a little tweak of a difference on size there. So, Michel, for those who want to connect with you or learn more about your work, what is the best way for them to reach out?
Well, the easiest way, because you're going to do it anyway, you're going to check my profile on LinkedIn. That's what everyone does. And but I encourage you to look at our website. And once again, this is where most of our educative documentations, the web page, the podcast, and everything, the discussions that we have resides there. And you have plenty of very, very good stuff available for you. Most of it is for free. And looking for comments and improvements. So the website is www.slictexas.com, one word.
All right. And we'll make sure we put all of those on in the show notes. So, Michel, this has been such a gift. Of course, people can find you at Sell Well, again, September 11th and 12th to be held in Houston. But your wisdom around scaling with intention instead of just scaling chaos is exactly what so many people need to hear today. And to you as listeners, if Michel's insights resonated with you, and I have a feeling they might have, I want you to know that this is just the beginning. So, Michel, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much, Lisa, and I look forward to see you and help you in the future as well. And look forward to see you at Selvel 2025 and share, the energy from Catherine during this event. Thank you very much to get on your show.
Yes. And I look forward to meeting you in person as well, to start taking those notes and start meeting and seeing how we can net weave together. And here's what I want our listeners to know. The person you're meant to meet, the conversation that's going to change everything for you, and the insight that will unlock your next level could possibly be waiting in that room. So Michel will be there leading the Scaling Your Sales Team track. I will be there leading the Elevate Your Personal Brand. But this is not a place where we collect business cards or surface level networking. It is about connecting with people, the ones that see what you want, who value what you value, and who are committed to building something together. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. Your future self is calling, and trust me, they want you to be in that room. So until next time, keep showing up as the authentic, powerful leader you were designed to be. The world is waiting for exactly what you have to offer. And until next time, go chase your passion. It will reveal your purpose and take you on the path to discovering your legendary self. We'll see you here next week.